Boom. Tell me I'm on time. You know, I got a new haircut the other day. I'm not so sure about it. It's different, you know. You need to tell me what you think of it. Because, you know, every single day we present ourselves before you. We lay at the feet of disapproval every single day. So when we do something different, you take note, and oftentimes you let us know in rapid succession exactly what we've done. The other day, I did the unthinkable. I did. Before I even continue, hey, Bo, so good to see you, Bo. Thank you so much. I don't usually come to you this late at night. It's 1925, I think. Loud and clear. Thank you, Bo. That is exactly what I wanted to hear. Thank you so much. You know, earlier I posted, I said I was going to talk about these two things. I was going to talk about Munir Zulu and the Kist and Musani trial. And when I did, some joker, and I see this a lot, I do, some guy who happens to have the top fan title. Guys, if you're a top fan of anything, do you know what that means? It means you like that content. Now, it doesn't mean that you cannot critique or disagree, but it comes across as trashy when you start insulting the content creator that you are a top fan of. It's the most amazing thing. So, you know, I posted this. I was going to be on air at 1925. Some joker, this Jamoke, and it says right there, top fan. He says, and I'm thinking, why the heck are you a top fan if you're going to talk to me this way? So guess what I did? I put a line through his name instead of under it. I keep telling you guys, I'm a social commentator. If there's something that I'm interested in to talk about, I do. I come here on this platform and I do it. Okay? You guys have no idea what it's like being me out here for you. It is an up and down, pride swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about. Okay? That's a line from Jerry Maguire. Watching from Johannesburg. Good man, this one. Oh, thank you. I will get to the top something or other. Thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, let's get into it real quick. As many of you know, back in 2023, I think it was September the 6th, you remember Munir Zulu is an independent member of parliament from a place called Lumezi. Now, this guy is not only a nuisance, but he's a purveyor of chaos. He feeds off of discontent. He does. And there's nothing worse than a lawmaker that finds gleeful joy in sowing the seeds of misinformation and discontent. And that's what this guy does. But here's the thing. He does it under the guise, he does it under the shelter, he does it under the pavilion of free speech, and I'm a member of parliament, and then anything and everything that I say within the confines of parliament are sacred. Well, they're not. You know, you have to take responsibility for careless statements that you make, especially as a lawmaker. It wouldn't be so bad if these utterances came from a teacher, an engineer, some abstract profession. But oh no, this statement that Munir Zulu made in September, the 6th of September, 2023, coming from a member of parliament, was not only disingenuous, but it was reckless, idiotic. He said, you know, and he said it in front of journalists. He said that he had reliable information that the head of state was going to dissolve parliament and call for early elections. Now, in 2023, there was a lot of political angst going on, and he took advantage of the angst in the country by making these outlandish statements. Statements that would have thrown this administration into a place of disrepute and discontent from the public. Basically, what Munir was trying to do was trying to incite the public against an established government. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with government. There's nothing wrong with providing checks and balances. That's the role of the opposition. They're supposed to do that. They ought to do that. Nay, they must do that. But honey, there is everything wrong under the sun when you create falsities for your own political gain. Hear that when I tell you that. There's everything wrong when you stand in front of several different media houses and then you make these utterances. And I remember, I'll never forget this, the moment he uttered that, one of the journalists present gasped. Do you remember that? Tell me in the comments, do you know what it means to gasp? Tell me if you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that remember Munir Zulu's misleading, false, erroneous utterances when he said that he has it on good authority, he has reliable information that the head of state, President Hakainde Hichilema, was going to dissolve parliament and call for early tripartite elections, early general elections. Tell me if you remember. Tell me if you remember that. Tell me if you remember when the journalist, upon hearing Munir Zulu say that, she gasped. She was shocked because she knew the implications of a head of state calling for general elections. It would have thrown the entire country off of its balance, and we would have been focusing on a re-election that was not planned for, an election rather, sorry. We would have been thrown in a situation where we would have been concentrating on an election that was unplanned for, and it would have blindsided the Zambian people. And this is the insidious utterance that Munir Zulu made. He made it fully aware that it was false, fully aware that it was misleading, fully aware that it was bogus, fully aware that it would cause an atmosphere of discontent, sedition, seditious. And when the police arrested him for that, of course, conveniently, oh, this is political persecution. I'm being persecuted. No, you're not being persecuted. You're being prosecuted for your foolishness. You're being prosecuted for your utterances that are misleading and that are false. You're being prosecuted for your irresponsibility. There's not one fiber in Munir's body that deserves to be in parliament. There's not anything remotely related to Munir Zulu that should be called a member of parliament. That man, the little man, should be removed from parliament, and there should be a by-election in Lumezi so that the people of Lumezi can be represented properly, not by a joker like Munir Zulu. No, sir. Not going to stand for that. Not going to do that. So here it is. And at one point during Munir Zulu's trial, 3 of his homeboys, 3 of his friends, 3 of his parliamentary compadres, his defense. Sorry about that. Have to pause for a second. 3 of Munir Zulu's friends, his parliamentary compadres, testified in his defense. And they said, oh no, as far as we're concerned, when we heard Munir Zulu make these utterances, we took it as a joke. I mean, it was just a joke. It's a joke. It was just a joke. We know Munir, even when he stood in front of those journalists and he uttered those falsities, he was uttering them as jest. Jest. You know what jest is? Meaning it's like a joke. It was just jokes. You are irresponsible and you are reckless if you're a member of parliament and you stand in a court of law under oath and you make such foolish, irresponsible statements. It was not a joke. It was meant to incite the public against an established government. That's what it is. Now, what's going to happen to Munir? I'd suspect that he's going to get what's coming to him. He's going to get his comeuppance, whatever that is. And when it does, it's going to come down with ferocity. And Munir is so, you know, there's something very irresponsible about that guy. If you look at his last post, he shows an eagle grabbing a cow. The most irresponsible chap. And he insists on being insidious. Well, you know, you can showboat all you want on Facebook. You can showboat all you want on this platform. But when the dust settles and when the dew dries, the only person that's going to be standing there with broken pieces is Munir Zulu and his family. That's what it is. All right. Lastly, I want to talk to you about Kidist's trial. Kidist versus Musani. You guys remember this guy, Musani. He wrote on his Facebook page that he was going to rape Kidist and harm Kidist's child. And in the process, he also called Kidist's child the most horrible, the most repudiating, the most repugnant names that you can think of. And Kidist and Yomaps took it upon themselves to take Musani to task. They took him to court. They sued him. And this lawsuit is going to play itself out. Guys, I keep telling you, and please, at the risk of sounding repetitive, although I must say it again and again and again, in this country, there is a digital framework. And that framework, we are subject to it. And it's a lesson that all of us have to learn. You know, at one point or another, if you are irresponsible with this medium, this Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is, if you're irresponsible with it, and because there are laws that are structured around our conduct on social media, when someone takes you to task and you are found wanting, trust me, the law throws you away. We've seen it play out. We saw it with Chela Tukuta. He accused a high-ranking government official of being a call girl. She took him to task. He failed to prove it. He could not prove his allegation. And the court is blind. The law's blind, sentenced him to prison. In the same vein, by the same token, I believe that the evidence is there. It's self-telling. It's self-evident. Musani did say what he said. There is an audio recording of a conversation between Musani, Kidist, and Yomaps, where Musani repeatedly insults and degrades. And you know what I find interesting about that conversation is that Kidist and Yomaps, they knew that this was all evidence. And they just let him yap. They just let Musani yap. Oh, he yapped and showboated. Oh, I'm this, that, and the other. Well, all of that has been submitted in a court of law. That's the reason they say everything and anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. It is what you say. For those of you that love to say, oh no, those are just words. Huh? Those are just, they're just weights. Eh? What is the big deal? Well, the law says everything and anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Anything and everything you say will be used against you in a court of law. What's my verdict on that? He's going to prison. Musani is going to prison. There are no two ways about it. And it's got nothing to do with Yo Maps and Kidist paying off anybody. That's nonsense. The evidence is there. It is self-evident. That boy, Musani, shot himself in the foot. He placed that noose around his neck and he jumped off the bridge. And once he gets to the bottom, that neck of his is going to snap. Goodness. I gotta go. Thanks for watching. Bye.